Now, I think of InDesign snippets as ad hoc collaboration. You can just do it on the fly. You don't really have to set things up. However, in a large workflow that needs to be structured and everybody's on the same page, it can help to plan ahead a little bit. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and close this page. Just Control W on Windows, Command W on the Mac, and we don't need to save this page. Let's go back to our More Placing document, grab the Selection tool, and let's think of other ways where we could share content. That is, share little bits of the layout with other folks or among multiple documents to make sure that we have consistent layout. Some examples might be this logo here at the top. If we grab the Zoom tool, look here at the bottom, we have an address. That would be a great example of a library item. And that's what we're going to discover now. So library items do require a little bit of setup, but it's pretty straightforward. Choose File, New, Library. We'll be presented with a dialog box where we need to name our library. I'll call this Identity. I want to make sure to use the INDL extension. That's an InDesign library. And we'll save it in Lesson 2 of Part 2 of our project files. Go ahead and click Save when you're ready. And you are presented with a blank new window. This is where we're going to put stuff that we're going to save as library items. So grab the black arrow tool, that is the selection tool, and I'll show you a couple different ways to add content to a library. First is the easiest. Take your selection, this can be one item or multiple items that you have shift-clicked to select. Take that item and just drag it into the library window. And when you do that, you'll see the plus mark next to your cursor, indicating that you're going to add that object. Pretty straightforward. Now, I might want to change the name of that library item because untitled isn't very helpful. I could either double-click it, or I can come down here, and as long as that object is selected, click the Information button. And now I can give this a name, something intuitive like address. Now here in the Object Type pull-down, it defaults to the appropriate option based on what you have selected, but I just want to use this pull-down menu to show you the kinds of content that you can add to a library. Images, EPS content, PDF content, page geometry, that is, you could just have frames and guides that you add to a library, entire pages, text, which we've done in this case, structure, which relates to XML structure, and entire InDesign files. So again, we'll just set this to the default for this content, which is text, and click OK for now. Now let's go ahead and zoom back out, press Ctrl-0 on Windows, Command-0 on the Mac, and let's add this logo. In addition to dragging content in, we can also select an object or multiple objects, and then come down here to the bottom of the window and click the New Library Item button. That will add that content here to the library, but again, it gives us this very unuseful name of Untitled. So in this case, I'll just double-click that object. We get the Item Information dialog box, and we'll give this an intuitive name such as White Logo. When I'm done, I'll press OK, and we'll do just one more example. Press with me Ctrl-J on Windows, Command-J on the Mac to jump to page 2, and click OK. Now, drag and drop is pretty easy, but creating the custom name later is kind of annoying. So what I normally do is select the object or objects that I want to add as a library item, come down here to the bottom of the window, and on Windows, press the Alt key, or on the Macintosh, hold down the Option key. Then, when you click that new button, you will have the opportunity to instantly name and save that new library item. So I'll call this Blue Logo. And when I'm done, I'll click OK. So here we have 3 new library items, and these are being saved automatically into the library. We could have dozens or hundreds of more items in here, all sorts of different types. Notice here in the flyout menu that you have several context-sensitive commands. You have the ability to view your thumbnails in different views. You can also sort your thumbnails. Now, if you do get to the point where you have lots and lots, maybe even hundreds of different library items, look down here at the bottom, we have the binoculars icon. This allows us to find. So give that a click, and this will show a subset of what we have available inside of our library. So I'm going to say the item name contains, let's type logo. I know we don't really need that. We only have 3 items, but you'll understand how this works. Click OK, and essentially it filters that down to just the content that you need. Now, before we're done, let's just review how to use these library items then on other documents. So again, press Control-N or Command-N on the Macintosh. Use the document preset called Menu that creates a 4-inch by 11-inch page, and click OK. And here you have 2 options. I can take this logo and drag it out of the library and position it really wherever I want. I can do that multiple times. But my favorite aspect to working with library items is their precision. With that in mind, grab that object, come up here to the flyout menu, and instead of just dragging and dropping, choose the Place Items command. The Place Items command remembers a little bit of extra information about when you created this library item, specifically where exactly on the page did it come from. So now this blue logo goes back to the exact location from whence it came. So if you are using library items for logos or maybe some tiny little legal text, like a legal disclaimer at the back of a brochure, now you can be guaranteed that it's always going back to the same location. Now, on your computer's hard drive, you have this identity.indl file. This is your InDesign library that's storing all of these frequently used items that can now be shared by multiple users on multiple computers, ensuring that everybody is using the same content across all of your projects.